If that person don't know what they're doing, but you sort of do, just a little bit, you'll be able to take control of that person, get that person to comply with you by physical force without hurting them, without doing serious, significant damage. Because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu teach you balance displacement, it teach you how to put them in a certain position where they can't get out of, and after the whole incident is over with, it also teach you how to conserve your energy. You still have enough energy to give verbal commands while you actively fighting the guy. You teach you how to remain in control, and you still have enough energy to get through the rest of your day, and your adrenaline won't be all the way through the roof as if you was doing punches. Now you got some people who, real heavy in the martial art, they know how to throw punches and kicks. Without expelling all of their energy, I'm not that guy. If I grab you, I know enough. If I grab you and you don't know what you're doing, as if you don't know what you're doing, more than likely you're gonna end up in cuffs, and you're not gonna be hurt, and you're not gonna have to go to the hospital, and you're gonna end up going to jail. You're gonna get booked in, and then I'm gonna go right back on shelf and get right back to where I'm most needed. That's why I prefer BJJ. I think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a good martial art for police officers to learn, and correctional officers. That'll help you out a whole lot. Not only that, if you know what you're doing, you know how to handle yourself in a physical fight, the less likely, or the less you have to use your secondary weapon like can of mace or a taser for a patrol officer. I know prisons in South Carolina, the majority of them don't have tasers, they just have a can of mace. But if you know what you're doing with your hands, it's easier to deal with somebody like that than have to use your secondary weapons. And the reason why I say that, your secondary weapons are not always effective. I've seen videos where somebody used their secondary weapon and it didn't work. Sometimes tasers don't work. Sometimes OC spray doesn't work. Sometimes using a baton doesn't work. But I have yet to see a situation or a video where somebody who knew what they was doing with their hands, who knew how to effectively apply soft empty hand control, and the person that they tried to arrest always end up escaping. I haven't seen a video where that happens. I seen a video where a guy used a taser. This guy that was he was acting crazy, walking down the street. I can't remember the video exactly, but he was acting crazy. He was walking in the middle of traffic. He could have got hit. They tried to tase the guy to get him compliant. Taser didn't work, and then out of nowhere, a cop came and tackled the guy and put him in cuffs. I haven't seen any videos where people who know what they're doing with their hands wasn't successful in arresting the person. I haven't seen that. If there's a video out there like that, send it to me. I want to watch it. I haven't seen it. If there is, I bet it's a small number. So that's why I think you need to learn a martial arts discipline, preferably Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Here's my next point. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5, learn how to relate. As a police officer, you need to learn how to relate to people. Correctional officer, you need to learn how to relate to those inmates. You need to learn how to talk to them. You need to talk to them like, I put it to you like this. This used to be my favorite saying. Talk to them as you would talk to a friend, but don't tell them everything that you would tell a friend. You get what I mean? So you build a professional relationship with them. For example, you see an inmate reading a book, you could go up to him and ask him, hey, what you reading? If he want to talk to you, he'll tell you what he's reading. And then you ask him why. Try to pique his interest and see why he's reading the book, see what he's interested in. Maybe you guys can find some kind of common ground. Either way, you'll build a kind of rapport with the inmate, and you'll build a relationship, a professional relationship with the inmate. And you guys might have some common ground that you could build a rapport off of. And the more relatable you are, the more inmates will want to talk to you. And you'll be surprised how many inmates will want to tell you stuff. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Despite what you see in the movies, despite what you hear in the hip-hop industry specifically, it doesn't matter if they're a gangbanger or part of a religious group inside of prison. It doesn't matter. One thing I learned, and this is going to be a rough estimate because I don't know the exact number and I don't know any studies on this, but I think 90% of inmates want an officer in there that they could trust to do their job. And it makes sense. And here's the reason why. Imagine you being locked up. I don't care what you did. Imagine you're locked up. You have to sleep with people who committed a crime and has been convicted and have been found guilty. You have to sleep in a room with people like that. I guarantee you, you're not going to feel safe having to live in that environment. Especially when you know violence happens a lot. Especially when you know there are predators in prison that like to prey on the weak. If you were in that situation, you would want a strong officer present. Although inmates will not express that out loud because they got a certain image. They don't want to look like a snitch. Or they don't want to look like they cop friendly because that's a bad image for them and it could get dangerous for them because they have to live there. But you'll be surprised if you're relatable and you're somebody that's approachable, inmates will come talk to you and tell you stuff. Even the ones that you think wouldn't. Even the ones that will openly say, I ain't no snitch. I'm not this. I'm hardcore. I'm a real OG. You'll be surprised. I've had people who was real OGs come talk to me and tell me things. And it's because I was relatable. It's because I found a common ground with them. And that goes to patrol side as well. With patrol side is a little bit different. You're not dealing with people that's locked up. You're dealing with people who got all of their rights. Give yourself some exposure to these neighborhoods that you're patrolling. Try to talk to some of the people. When you're doing business checks, go talk to the owners. Go talk to the employers and the employees. Get to know them. The more you get to know people, you want to appear. Yes, you're an officer and you're here to enforce law, but you're also a human being too. Everybody wants to see that you're a human being just like them, that you're a citizen just like them. And the more they can relate to you, the more they're willing to work with you and cooperate with you. And you need cooperation from the public. I don't care if you're Sherlock Holmes and you're good, and I don't care how high your IQ is. You cannot effectively do your job without cooperation from the public. And I say that to correctional officers as well. You cannot effectively do your job without cooperation from the inmates. That's just the bottom line. If you don't get any cooperation as a correctional officer from the inmates, and if you don't get any cooperation as a patrol officer or investigator, or whatever aspect of law enforcement, you don't get cooperation from the public or the community that you serve, you won't solve a crime. I promise you, you will not solve a crime. You won't be able to effectively do your job. So learn to relate to people. And this will be point number 6. Be morally upright and remain morally upright in this profession. If you don't, your sins will find you out. I promise you that. This is one profession that you need to remain morally upright in, because whether you're on duty or off duty, remain morally upright, because you never know who's watching. It could be somebody that you arrested and got a vendetta out against you and would love to get you fired. Or it could be an inmate that you had to enforce disciplinary action on, who's out in the free world, because they'll see you before you see them, always. And you out here in the free world doing something you don't have any business doing that you know is wrong. It won't be nothing for them to record you turn it in to your department wherever you work at. And one thing your department does not want, one thing your supervisor does not want is for the image of you to negatively affect the department. You're gonna be having a conversation with your supervisor that you don't want to have. I promise you that. And not only that, from what I seen, I don't care if you're the sheriff, I don't care if you're the chief, I don't care what rank you have. If you're not morally upright, it always catches up to you. In the end, it doesn't work. I promise you. So remain morally upright. Always keep your nose clean. Last but not least, appearance. Appearance is important. A lot of times, and I know you guys have seen it, I have seen it. You have seen officers that look like a bag of trash. In uniform and out of uniform. If you're a correctional officer and you look like a bag of trash, the inmate's gonna think you're easy. They gonna think, well, he don't care enough about his appearance. I can get him to do anything. He's just here for a check. Since he's here for a check, maybe I could talk him into doing something he don't have any business doing by offering him some money to do it. Even if you're not that kind of officer, but you look like a bag of trash, you don't want nobody to think that about you. You don't want to get approached with something like that. Because if you don't care about how you look, you're not going to look like a type of person that people going to want to talk to. And you're not going to look like a type of person that cares about his job. You're just going to have a bad reputation. Especially if you're out on patrol side. In the public and they see you, they ain't going to want to call you for help. Would you want to call anybody that look like a bag of trash to come help you? He don't even care about his appearance. What make you think he care about your situation? It's not the type of person you want to talk to. So, appearance, make sure your uniform's clean. Make sure you got good hygiene. In uniform and out of uniform. You want to look like somebody that people could trust to do the job effectively. Because if you don't, the public won't work with you. And the inmate's just going to try to play you. Okay? So that's my advice. Those are all the points.